Welcome everyone. So as you can see, I really wanted to create one of those fake Zoom backgrounds that made it look like I was outside in my garden, but I couldn't do that, so I took my computer and put it outside in my garden. So welcome everyone. Hello Renee, and I see Claire's here, and Michaela. Let's get started. So let's start with a simple question. What have wallpaper cleaner and Play-Doh got in common? And as it's not a quiz, I'm going to tell you all about it. There's a little company called Kutol. In the first half of last century, used to make something called wallpaper cleaner. Now, what wallpaper cleaner basically does is that first, let me just check. Can everybody hear me? Question number 6. Hello, hello. Very faint audio. Is that better? Can you hear me a bit better now? If I speak a bit louder? Nope. Still faint. I'm just going to speak really loud then. I hope you can bear with me. Is that better? Because I need to try and get a microphone connected really, really quickly. Okay, let me try. It's just very safe to see this enough. So, I have to get a mic. Okay. So you give me a minute just to get a mic. Everybody sit tight. Is that better or don't? Is that better? Not really clear. How's that? That's better. The thing is really in front of you. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Let me see if I put this a bit higher up. Give me 1 second, okay? How's that? Is that a bit better? Hello, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Simply put, any suggestions? Have a microphone. Have it set up right next to where I'm speaking.
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Better. Sorry about that, everyone. Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Quenzi. Let's get started. Okay, so back to my story. In the turn of the last century, long before all of you were born, a little company called Kutol used to make something called wall cleaner. It was a kind of putty. Now, if you can imagine, before the Second World War, most houses were heated with either coal or wood fires. And what this would create is a kind of soot that would stick to the walls. And Kutol was a squishy kind of paste that you'd stick against the wall and slowly pull the soot off. In the 1950s, as people started heating with gas and electricity, the company Kutol was about to go bankrupt, and they really weren't sure what to do about it. When the guy that owns Kutol, his aunt phoned him one day and said to him, "You won't believe it, but the children at my school like to use Kutol to play with and model with. Why don't you try adding a few colors to it? And let me even make a suggestion. Let's call it Play-Doh." And that is exactly how Play-Doh was invented. So if you think you're the first person that's faced challenges or had to change the way they're thinking, this has been going on for hundreds of years. And as much as I hate the word pivot, and I really do, that's why I really like the word changing gears, we're all at the position now where we have to change gears. So I've been tasked with introducing you all to a little bit about social media. And I've called this talk, Social Media, What I Learned at 14,000 Feet. Now, the reason I called it that is that's me strapped to the guy there. I'm in the red jumpsuit, smiling as much as I can. And that's me jumping out from 14,000 feet over Mossel Bay. And there are a couple of things I really learned that day. First of all, you have to do something every day that scares you. And it doesn't have to be jumping out of a plane. It can be just taking a chance, moving ahead, just doing something a little bit different. It's important that you do your homework. And I did too. I investigated the company that I was going to be jumping with. I investigated the guy that I was going to be strapped to. And then, of course, you have to trust the experts. Now, I'm strapped to that guy. And on the way up in the plane, I'm thinking to myself, you know, I actually trust this guy more than I trust my doctor. Because should I, God forbid, die of COVID-19 or anything like that, my doctor is going to be at my funeral saying really nice things about me. But if I die skydiving, this guy is not going to be at my funeral because he's going to die too. So he's an expert, and I needed to trust the expert. And then most importantly, I realized there comes a time when you just have to jump. So this is social media at 14,000 feet. I hope you're ready, but it's time to jump. Now, the first question I often get asked is, what are my customers going to expect now during this really strange time and in post-COVID-19? And I've come up with a kind of list of things that I think we're going to see from our customers. First of all, they're going to expect a lot of honesty and transparency. People feel they've been lied to, they've been misled, they've been marketed to, whatever the word is. There's going to be a real swing towards honesty and transparency and a lot of fact-checking. Now, I cut my teeth as the marketing manager at Mug and Bean, and any of you that have been to the Mug and Bean have read the story on the back, that beautiful long story about Mug and Bean and how they met at the turn of the last century and they create. Of course, it was all nonsense. It was all made up. Now, should Mug and Bean launch today, what would happen is someone would go onto Google, they'd fact check it, and the next minute, hashtag Mug and Bean are lying would be trending. So the internet has led to us to a lot more fact checking. So look out, your customers expect a lot more honesty and transparency. They're going to understand the difference between perception and reality. And as we move into this kind of cyber world, perception is becoming more and more important. So a lot of small businesses, it's more and more important that you present yourself as a professional organization through things like a proper logo, business card, your website, how you project yourself on Facebook. So perception is going to become even more important than reality. There's a swing away from interruption marketing, much, much less interruption marketing, less marketing on television, less marketing in magazines. We've all seen how newspapers and magazines are taking a hiding at the moment. So that's certainly there. There's a swing towards show and don't tell, video and the ability to show someone, artificial intelligence, take them for a tour inside your facility without them actually being there is going to become more and more important. And so is targeting and segmentation, understanding exactly who you're targeting to, because that's where you're going to be spending your money. on those people, targeting and segmentation. A swing towards integration. Integration means that everything I do should be more or less the same. So how I present myself on Facebook should be how I present myself on my Instagram account, from my Instagram account to my Pinterest account, or Pinterest, however you want to pronounce it. And of course, all the way on to how I look, how I present myself in videos, a real integration between all of those things. And of course, this word that we've all heard all the time, a real swing towards disruption. Now, we all absolutely love disruption, but we hate being disrupted. An example of disruption is Netflix. One day a guy wakes up, he gets tired of paying return fees on his DVDs, comes up with something called Netflix. By the way, that's how Netflix started. Uber comes along and disrupts the entire industry. Now, if I'd pitched up at a restaurant talk, let's say in early March, and I'd sit up on the stage and say, listen, guys, I want to tell you about disruption. You're not going to be able to sell food for about 3 months of this year. They would have locked me off the stage. But disruption is all around us. And you need to look at the industry that you're in, look at other industries and see what kind of disruptions are coming away. So those are what I believe are the 7 real customer expectations that we're going to see over the next little while. So this talks about social media. So let's get started with social media. Now, I hear this all the time. Mike, websites are dead. Before I even go on there, let me tell you about the 4 objectives of this presentation. I only have 30 minutes or so to talk to all of you. I cannot teach you everything you need to know about social media, but we're too afraid to ask. But first of all, I really want to introduce you. Secondly, I want to calm you. I want you to understand that you can do this, and you can do this really, really well. I want to inform you. I want to give you some hints and tips. And then most importantly, I want to inspire you. I want to inspire you to do at least one thing when this talk finishes, whether that's register a domain or take a look at your Facebook page or learn a bit about Canva, just something. I don't expect you to do everything, but I am hoping I'll be able to inspire you to do at least one thing. Now on to social media. There are a lot of people telling me that websites and blogs are dead and everything's happening on Facebook. Please don't believe them. If you want to give yourself credibility, if you want to put yourself out there, the first thing you need to do is ensure that you have a decent website. Please, I urge you, go and register a domain. Domain registration, 97 Rand if you do it yourself. Hosting, 39 Rand a month. That's all you have to do. Building your website, use WordPress, free to use. Looking for a template, go look for a website, go look for a WordPress template, go and build yourself a website. And if you can't do it yourself, there are plenty of guys out there on Facebook, on a site called Fiverr, that's fiverr.com, that can help you get this website up and running. Now, people say to me, yeah, but who blogs nowadays? Everybody who's somebody is blogging all the time. The first reason to blog is that Google loves fresh content. And what your blog does, if you put it on your website, is it keeps people going back to your site all the time. It gives Google a reason to come to your site and look at it. You know, in the morning, Google sends out these little spiders onto the internet, looking for fresh information, seeing what links to what, who finds things exciting. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. So please take the time, register your website, and start writing that blog and be consistent. The second part is Facebook. Facebook has become an incredibly important part of marketing. But there are 3 things happening on Facebook. There's your personal page, there's groups, and there's pages. And the first question I always get asked is, which of those should I create? Now, you have to create your Facebook profile first, your own personal one, because only from there can you start to create business pages and groups. Now, I'm a big fan of the business page. And the reason for that is that you can do boosting. You can buy advertising. You can put yourself in front of other people. And going back to one of the things, you do targeting and segmentation. You can make sure that your Facebook ads are appearing in front of other things. Once you've got your Facebook page right, and there is so much to that, getting the banner right, getting the pictures right, having your content right. We'll talk a little bit about content a bit later on, working out how often Facebook posting works for you. But one thing I want to say to you, more than anything else, it doesn't matter what you post on Facebook. What really matters is that people share what you post on Facebook. Getting other people to share your content is much more important than what you do and how many likes you accumulate. When I'm posting stuff on Facebook, of course, I love the likes, that little, I'm not sure what they call it, that drop of adrenaline that goes through my head every time I see the likes. But to me, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is how many shares a post is getting, because that shows me that what I've posted is not just important to me, but important to the people that I'm posting to. Now, the next really big thing that's happening at the moment is video marketing. And if you're not doing video marketing, if you haven't set up a YouTube channel yet, if you're not using Facebook to market video, you really are missing out on something quite incredible. It doesn't take a huge production thing. Your phone is good enough. You can create any video you like using your phone. There's a free application called VLLO. I'll repeat that for you. That's Victor Lima Lima Oscar, VLLO. Download VLLO. It's an incredibly powerful on phone, and it works with both iPhones and Android, and on both it's free. You can create your videos. You can add titles to your videos. Get into video marketing. That's what it's all about. And I'll talk a little bit about video marketing a bit later on. But honestly, if I can convince you to do one thing, it's start video marketing. Start watching videos on how to do it. Communicate with your customers through videos. We're talking about 60 to 90 seconds, telling people what you do. Go back to your own website, those of you that have websites, and go look at your about page and go and change your about page into a video. Write yourself a small script and start doing video. And of course, there are a multitude of other channels. There's Instagram. Instagram, if you do something that's the graphic intense and has great pictures like travel or fashion, Instagram is a wonderful place to get yourself out there as well. There's Pinterest, who knows how you pronounce it. Nobody even knows whether it's a GIF or a GIF, by the way, but the guy invented it. He said it's a GIF. And then people said to me, but Mike, you can't say G as a J. Yes, you can. Try giraffe. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked now. So there are other channels out at the moment as well. There's WhatsApp Business. But if I can tell you right now, sitting in front of you, your website, your blog, your Facebook, some video marketing, and possibly some Instagram is more than enough for you to connect with all your customers. So the next question I'm often asked is, okay, now I'm going to do all of this. How do I generate and predict sales from all of this? Because you can have the best blog in the world. You can have the best Facebook page in the world. You can have the best website in the world. If you're not generating sales for yourself, then you really are, you're wasting some of your time and some of your energy. So let's talk about the different people and how we get sales out of them. Now, first of all, you need to understand that most of the people out there are basically strangers. If you were to take a piece of paper and I asked you to write on let's say the name of my company is Mike Said What. So I'm going to write on the top of my piece of paper, I'm going to write there, I don't buy from Mike Said What because, and then I'm going to list the reasons why I feel people don't buy from me, because only if I understand those reasons can I change them. And the number one reason that people don't buy from me is because they don't know I exist. So number one, I simply didn't know he exists. Then there are people out there who know that I exist, but they don't actually know what I do. A whole other market. Then there are people who know that I exist and they know what I do, but they don't know what I can do for them. So those three questions are so key, because everything I write, everything I do has to answer one of those questions. So first of all, step number one, people out there are strangers. And the first thing we want to do is turn those strangers into visitors. And how do we do that? To get them from step number one to step number two, we use our website. We write blogs. We buy keywords. We do plenty of social publishing. We use our Facebook page, our Instagram page. We buy paid promotions. Because right now, that's step number one. I just want to take this group of strangers and I want to move them into visitors. Now I've got visitors to my site. The next step is I want to convert some of those visitors at least into leads. And how do I do that? I do that through strong calls to action, a number of landing pages, great offers. So in other words, visit my site and download the first 20 pages of my ebook, or watch my video on social marketing for free. Anything I can to get to engage with those visitors and move them from a visitor to someone who's interested, who then becomes a lead. So step number one, strangers to visitors. Step number two, visitors to leads. Now I have leads. I need them to become customers. How do I convert my leads into customers? And I do that through customer relationship management. I do that through staying in contact with them, using things like MailChimp or Constant Contact. What are the mailing servers where I can feed them drip information bit by bit. I can schedule little bits of information to go out there till eventually they're nibbling and they're biting. Now, none of us have a lot of money for marketing. So what we want to do more than anything else is fish where the fish are. We want to understand, going all the way back, targeting and segmentation. Am I speaking to the right leads? Am I feeding them the right information? Are they responding to it? So what do? I'm checking my analytics all the time. Every time I send out an email, I'm looking to see how many people read it. Those that read it, what did they click on? Those that clicked on it, how long did they stay on my website? Did they arrive at my website and leave? So then I'm moving along to Google Analytics, and I'm looking at my bounce rate, because all I want to do is move them. Then finally, I've got them as customers. Now, the most important part of all, I want these customers to start promoting for me. I want them to become my promoters. Now, all of you sitting out there are using one of two phones at the moment. You either have an iPhone or you have an Android phone. And if I were to ask you, as an iPhone user, what phone you recommend, you'd automatically put up your hand and you'd say, I want an iPhone. And here's all the reasons. iPhone doesn't pay you anything, yet you'll promote it for them freely. You are a promoter for iPhone. If I ask any runners that are in the audience what running shoe they recommend, sure enough, the running shoe that they wear, they'll recommend, I always wear Nike, I always wear Saucony, I always wear Asics. And here's the reason why. Our job is to turn our customers into promoters for us. How do we do that? By doing small surveys, asking them questions, making sure they're happy, providing them with wonderful content that they can share on our behalf. This is what it's all about, getting your customers to share content for you. You know, I do social media for a couple of small companies. And when I first meet them, first thing I'll do is go look at their Facebook page, and I'll see that they have 5,600 people who like the page. Then I'll look at the first post, and I'll see the first post got 5 likes and 1 share. And both of those, all 5 were family of the owner, and the person who shared it was the owner themselves. Then I just know that there's absolutely no traction in what they're putting out there. So the next point is, how do I get, once I'm doing social media, how do I get people to share it? This is what it's all about. How do I get my message across? And this is known as the 6 steps. Now, I really wish I could claim all the credit in the world for this, but I can't. It comes from a wonderful book called Contagious by Jonah Berger. And if you get a chance, pop onto audible.com and download Contagious and listen to Contagious. This guy has made a real study of why things go viral. This is Blink on another level. This is incredible stuff. So the first reason, he says, in order to get stuff to go viral, you need to give people a social currency. You have to make them feel good about the fact that they've posted it. It has to give them some kind of small ego boost. The next thing is you have to create triggers or reminders of why people use the product. Now, there's a real famous story about KitKat, and he tells the story, and you'll read it in the book. He talks about how the sale of KitKat had been diminishing by 5 to 7% every year over year and year and year, until KitKat came up with one simple thing. They said KitKat and coffee. And that little trigger, that every single time you had a cup of coffee, you thought KitKat, in the single year after they launched that campaign, their sales jumped by 30%. The next step is to give people an emotional connection, a way to connect with you, with the product, with everything that goes on there. Emotions become extremely, extremely important. So when you're looking at your posts, you're looking at and you're saying, am I creating some social currency? Is there a trigger here? Am I creating some emotion? The next step is public. What is the public doing at the moment? What are they thinking? What's on everyone's mind? It's extremely important, and that's the relevance of the post. I'm going to talk about that a bit later on. And the next step is, are you providing them with practical value? So, for example, are you giving them hints and tips? Are you giving them 5 things they can do today to grow their Pinterest thing? 3 ways to get your car started when your car stops. 2 ways to remove a screw that's stuck in a board that won't come loose. Any kind of practical information that you can put into your posts that'll help them. And then finally, stories. Keep it cool, keep it relevant, make that story really cool. Now, you cannot possibly get 6 steps right every time, but what you want to do is look at them and say, okay, which of these am I able to attract? Which of these is this particular post at? This particular post, I'm doing this one for its practical value. And I'm hoping people will share it because I've given them some really great ideas. For example, during the middle of lockdown, how to color your hair during lockdown. And of course, the most searched term in the whole of South Africa was how to make alcohol at home. Believe me, anyone that was putting out alcohol videos was doing an amazing work because that was the practical value that they were passing on. Now, if you find 6 steps a little daunting, these are my own 4 steps that I've been promoting for ages and ages. Regular, relevant, remarkable, and real. First of all, regular is not a number. It's a state of mind. I do post a lot on social media. If I were to take a week off social media, I would probably get a couple of messages asking me if I'm okay. Because I'm that regular. Almost every day I'm looking for some kind of meme that I pop onto Canva, I recreate the meme, I take a funny story that happened between my daughter and I turn it into a WhatsApp conversation constantly and constantly. The next thing is relevant. I look at my post and I say, is my post relevant to what is happening right now? Now, probably my most single shared post was a meme I created during the Soccer World Cup, where I showed a picture of a soccer player with tattoos on him. And I asked the question, if soccer players have such a low pain threshold, how are they wearing tattoos? Now, I thought it was quite funny. I thought a couple of my friends would have a laugh. That particular meme was shared 31,000 times around the world. And when I went back to look at it, I thought to myself, what was it about that meme? It was the fact that it was so relevant. I posted it during one of the games while one of the soccer players was rolling around on the ground pretending he was injured. So, for example, what's being shared at the moment? I would say one of the things that's really being shared at the moment is things that have to do with COVID, things that have to do with the government state of mind. Look at where we are right now. The next thing is it remarkable? Now, the word remarkable means able to remark. I'm able to remark about that. That's where the word remarkable comes out. So you're looking for content that people really do want to share. And then very, very importantly, is it real? Does it sound like the person who's doing the posting is the person in there? Now, I know that sitting out there are some social media influencers are amongst us, people that run social media for other companies. I do it myself. I warn my clients all the time. I say, if I'm going to do your social media for you, the one thing that's often going to be lacking is the real factor. It's not always going to feel real. And that's why I encourage people to do as much of their own social media as they possibly can with the help of professionals. Let guys who know what they're doing guide you. But where possible, be involved in your own social media. That's probably the most important. Now, another thing I hear all the time, people say to me, Mike, I'm posting. I'm paying someone else to post for me. I'm posting every single day, but I'm getting no traction. Nobody's liking my posts. The first thing I always say is, well, because you really are posting rubbish. But here are the steps to look at. The first reason why social media posting is not getting any traction is you simply don't have a strategy. You're waking up every single morning and You're just posting something for the sake of posting it. No thought's gone into it. Like, for example, this week, so let's say you have a restaurant. Now, restaurant, if you go to a restaurant and you say to a restaurant, I'll do your marketing for you, what would you like from me? They're going to say to you one of three things. They're going to say, bring me more customers, make them come back more often, and make them spend more when they come here. Now, I can't do all of those three things in the same post. So what I might do is I might take a week or 2 weeks, and for 2 weeks only, initially, I'm going to concentrate on bringing new customers. So I'm going to spend all the money on boosting, on finding customers in areas close to that restaurant that haven't even heard of the restaurant before. That's what I'm looking for. So that's step number one. Then they're going to say to me, okay, now I want them to come back more often. I'm going to say to them, well, actually, that's your responsibility. That's the way the staff treat them. So how would I do that? Then I'm going to go out looking for testimonials from clients. I want clients to post videos and pictures of them enjoying time in the restaurant. So all I'm trying to say to you is try and develop a strategy for everything that you do. The second reason why you're not getting any traction is you simply are posting boring content. I know it's hard to say to somebody, but sometimes it's just simply boring. It's same old, same old, same old, same. The same as everyone else is doing. That's why I very seldom repost people's memes. What I tend to do is I look for stuff that I like. I go onto Canva, and those of you that aren't using Canva, that's Canva, canva.com. Go out there, learn to do some of your own graphic design. It's available to you. There's so many unbelievable free or almost free programs on the internet for small businesses to use that, in fact, I think one day I'll write out a list. I'll post it to Simply Biz, and they can post my top 25 free things that I believe every small business owner should be using on the internet. So look out for that. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create that PDF, then I'm going to stick it on my website, and I'm going to swap each of you your email address in order to get that from me so that I can build my list, and then I can mail, and so it goes on. You're getting the thing. So boring content. The third one is lack of good images and video. Too many people are going onto the internet, they're going onto Google, they're finding the first image, it's out of focus, it's too small, it's pixelated, even worse, it's got those lines across it, and you can see 123 REF or the fact that it's a stolen image. Go out there, spend a little bit of money, go into Canva. There are incredible images and videos available to everyone, even on the free one. But if I could encourage you, if you're going to spend some money on social media, you want to get Canva Professional. But I'm not a Canva marketer, but I can tell you it's absolutely incredible. So lack of good images and good video is another reason why content's not being shared. Number 4, you're not offering any value to the customer. Very often a client will say to me, okay, what do you think of this post, Mike? And I'll go, what's in it for me? With them. What's in it for me? You have to, I'm sure many of you heard the expression UX, which stands for user experience. You have to start thinking UX on everything you do. What is the value of what I've posted to the customer? Would they like to share it? Will it bring them value? And then, of course, number 5, a completely undefined target audience. You don't know who you're talking to. You haven't taken the trouble. And guys, I've downloaded the Nedbank Simply Biz books. Those 3 PDFs are absolutely incredible. There is a wealth of information in there, from writing your sales pitch to understanding who your target market is. The single biggest problem with small business owners is that we have an undefined target audience. We don't understand who our target market is. If we knew who our target market is, we'd know what to say to them. So really, even before you do all of this, go download those 3 PDFs. And you all get, if you're watching the chat, you'll all receive an email with a link to those handbooks after the seminar. They are absolutely, absolutely incredible. And if you're battling to take notes, I'm on again next time. I'll try and speak slower. I'll even try and convince Nedbank to get a recording so that you don't have to take notes, Janet. But listen and learn. There's stuff out there. So try and define your target audience. Try and understand. Now, I sit in front of small business owners and I say to them, who's your target market? And they always say the same thing to me, everybody. And I say, no, not everybody. Don't you at least mean everybody with money? Oh, a light goes off. I said, and don't you mean at least everyone with money who can find you or spend it? Sorry, the light behind me. Let me go back there. Sorry. So define your target audience. Once you understand your target audience, you can then offer them value. Once you're offering value, you can use good images. Once you're using good images and videos, you know you're not going to be posting boring content. Once you got that, you develop a strategy. So sorry, but if you're not getting traction and you're not getting likes, here are the reasons why. So the next thing is, how do I convert my message into sales? Now, I'm spending thousands of rands. I'm spending hours and hours and hours, and I'm not seeing sales. Here are the steps in converting sales. First of all, let's understand that social media is not optional, particularly at the moment. If you're not doing social media, in fact, you're doing nothing. You're not talking to your audience in any way whatsoever. I have started a small little side hustle, as we all have. And what I do is I do 360 videos for estate agents, for real estate agents, which enables their customers to take a virtual tour of the entire property without visiting there. And then those agents post that on social media, because how else are they going to get people to come out and see properties that they're not even prepared to leave their homes for? The second thing is, social media is not difficult. It's difficult to perfect, but it's not difficult to do. Take the time, take the trouble, watch some YouTube videos, attend seminars like this, read the Nedbank book. I mean, what these guys have put together, I mean, I was sitting there in awe of what was written there, and I'd only at that stage seen the preliminary. There is so much on there for you to do. Social media is not free. Sure, it's free to be on Facebook, but it's not free. You need to invest time, and sometimes you need to invest money. That's what it's all about. And don't be scared to do that. Invest the time, invest the effort, learn, attend seminars, do some online learning through places like Skillshare. There are lots of them that do that. Watch some videos on how guys do it. Get better and get better and better and better what you do. Most importantly, please, this part is a warning to all of you. Once you post it, it's out there. You cannot take it back. Please understand that your personal posts are linked to your business, and they're linked to the businesses that you represent. I always use what I consider the same kind of funny analogy, which is you can't post how much you hate the Blue Bulls and then try and do business in Pretoria. It just doesn't work that way. You need to be consistent in everything that you do. So please remember, take a look, read through that post, be careful. We're living, unfortunately, in a kind of political landmine. And unless you've decided to deliberately be irreverent, for example, take the kind of Nando's posting where they say, we don't mind offending as long as we offend everybody. Please be careful what you do. Number 5, and probably most important, listen first and sell second. Have conversations with your customers. Ask them questions about use polls, use things like SurveyMonkey, Google Forms, anything to talk to your customers and ask them questions. If you want to get really good interaction on your posts, ask a question and let them answer it. But listen. So listen to your customers. Ask them what they're struggling with. Ask them what's stopping them from being successful at the moment. Believe me, right now, people will give you a list yay big. They really will. They'll give you such a huge list. Go through that list. See which of those problems can I solve. Another little turnaround business. I came to the end of last month, and I'm talking about the end of June. I really wasn't even sure how I was going to pay my bills. I'd done so much work and I just couldn't get any money in. And then they announced that restaurants could open. And I thought to myself, I know what these guys need. They need a form to capture all the customers that are coming in. So what I always do, I pop on straight away. Thank you. Reading the comments at the same time. I go on the internet and I think to myself, I know what I can do. I can create a form using Google Forms, and Google Forms is free. Then I can take that form and I can create a small little URL using something called Tiny URL. And sure enough, Tiny URL is free. Then I can take that Tiny URL and I can create a QR code. and I can use Code Monkey because QR Code Monkey is free. Then I can take my URL that I've created, my little QR code, and I can go to Canva, which is also free, and I can create them a poster. Now, what I did was using 4 absolutely free social media online things, I created a mini app. And I need to tell you, thank God, it was highly successful. And so listening to my customers, listening to what was playing them, finding a better way to do it. And then number 6, sell, sell, sell. The whole idea about social media is to get business in the door. That's really what it's about. Please don't lose sight of this. We do not do this for the good of mankind. Where most people watching today are not NGOs, or although even NGOs need to treat their customers as though it's a sale. Sell, sell, sell. And then finally, success is not guaranteed, but insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You need to go out there today and do something different. Go and register that domain. Go look at your website. Start writing your blog. Take a look at your Facebook page. Fix your profile picture. Fix your banner. Pin the right thing. If you're using LinkedIn, go on LinkedIn and check your profile. Is it up to date? Whatever you're doing, go out there and do something. So I'm going to finish off with my own questions, and that's to ask you if I succeeded. I hope I've at least been able to introduce you in the short 41 minutes that we've been together to what social media is about. I hope I've calmed you and at the same time excited you. I hope I've calmed you enough that you don't feel that this is so completely daunting. The next thing, I hope I've informed you. I hope I've given you some tips. And more importantly, more than anything else, I absolutely hope I've inspired you today to go and do at least one thing differently. And if I've inspired you to do one thing differently, in 41 minutes, I've achieved exactly what I set out to do. So I'm looking forward to interacting with all of you. You can find me on Facebook under Michael Said or under Mike Said What. Connect with me. Have any questions, please send them. I'm not sure if there are any questions. No question has been posted yet. Before I switch off, if you'd like to post a question right now, I would be absolutely more than happy to try and answer a couple in the few minutes that we've got left. I'm not going everywhere. I'm sitting outside. I have my cold drink here. Yes, it is cold drink. I did think of bringing out wine, possibly the non-alcoholic one. But please, anyone, if there are any questions, feel free to post them here in the chat or under questions. I'll take a few minutes before I sign off. And I'm looking forward to working with all of you. And a huge thank you to Nedbank and Simply Biz for putting together what is honestly an incredible thing. Special comment, we don't do this for the good of mankind. Janet, I'm not calm, but I am inspired. Well, when I say calm is, don't let it scare you. Just don't let social media scare you. Do it little bit by little bit. Dip your toe in. Get it right. You know, I tell my clients who are doing video for the first time, I say to them, you know what? Your first video is going to be terrible. I can tell you in advance, just like my first video was terrible. But the second video is going to be a little bit better. And then the next one's going to be a little bit better. And that's how it is. So Monique wants to know, what do you do if your marketing is not converting to sales? Well, I can tell you quite simply, there's something wrong with your marketing at that point. That's really the bottom line. You're either not talking to the right people or you're not conveying the right message to them. You're not telling them what they want to hear. Now, I used to do talks for Nedbank, and I'd always start my talks off the same way. I'd get up from the stage, I'd come down to the audience, I'd find a lady, because I'm a man, it's easy to convert with a lady, and I'd say to her, "Hi, my name is Mike Said." And she'd give me this huge smile. And I'd turn to the audience and I'd say, and in the back of her mind, she said, "So what?" And then I'd say to her, you know, I've got a company called Brand Strategy, which was called at the time, now call myself Mike Said What. And she'd smile again, and she'd say, in the back of her head, "So what?" Then I'd say to her, you know, I've got customers all over the country. And she'd smile again. And then she'd say, "So what?" And then I'd say to her, the key words, I'd say to her, if you give me 15 minutes of your time, I will turn your business around for me. And she'll say to me, "Please sit down." So what I'm trying to say to you is when you're talking to your customers, the only thing they want to know is what you are going to do for them, how you're going to make their lives easier, how you're going to save them time, how you're going to save them money, how you're going to make them money. That's it. How do you make a video with a phone look professional? Okay, that is an entire whole. So, Monique, I'm going to quickly run through this for you. First of all, buy yourself a tripod. The phone must be mounted on a tripod. You can download a couple of really good apps. There's one called Filmic Pro. There's another called, I'm going to quickly look on my phone so I'll give you the right name. Pro Movie. You can download. Next topic, phone videos with the greatest of pleasure. I can do a whole video on just how to shoot video on your phone and how to edit it. Get yourself a teleprompter. You get smart prompt. It's a teleprompter that works on your phone that only moves when your voice talks. You're suddenly getting a completely different look and feel. Then you edit it on something like VLLO. Now you're taking social media and video to a whole new level. You're producing 100% professional looking videos yourself. But I want to just tell you one more thing. Before you start filming your videos, the script is more important than anything else. Please write the whole script and then shoot for the script and not the other way around. Don't go out there and shoot video and then try and write a script around that. I think I've covered everything that I possibly can in now 46 minutes. Thank you, absolutely everybody who's tuned in. Hopefully I'll see some of you again. I think I'm back on the 26th of August, somewhere around there. August the 26th at 3 p.m. Video apps, VLLO, Victor Lima Lima Oscar. There are other ones, but VLLO is by far the best free video app that works across multiple platforms. So thank you very much, everyone who stayed with me for my 46 minutes and for putting up with the lack of sound in the beginning when we had to restart. And once again, thank you to Nedbank. Looking forward to seeing you all soon. And if you can convince Nedbank, I will gladly throw one in on just how to shoot and edit video on your phone for you all to watch. So if that's it, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Signing off and see you all again soon.